Welcome to Computer Mediated Communication Timeline. This presentation is for BSCOM 330. I'm Michelle Skadal, presented on December 4th, 2017 for Professor Mark Smith. This presentation has been created to discuss the little moments of computer-mediated communication, profiling 5 different points: email, the first version of the World Wide Web, bulletin boards, chat rooms, and social media. I chose these 5 bullet points as they were instrumental in my professional as well as personal life. Having began my career in the late 80s and early 90s, I personally learned computer-mediated communication using these tools, and they've taken me very far. Email, also known as electronic mail, is the first application, and the first email was sent in 1972. This information is managed by a personal email address. It is private communication, or one-to-one, but can be shared in one-to-many. It took a government tool and made something that everyone wanted to use. Email is used for the lack of synchronicity, and it also took us from the ARPANET to the internet. The beginning of the web, or Web 1.0, existed with only static websites. Content was being generated and posted, but no interactivity happened between individuals. This version of the web was about content creation linked by hyperlinks. There was no true organization or search function available. This was ultimately a one-way conversation, individual to web. For me, bulletin boards and networks are when the internet started to get good. In the early 90s and late 80s, CompuServe began a personal communications network. This was asynchronous communication and was designed to build communities based on similar interests. Respondents could respond on their own schedule, and it was not real time. These personal communication networks were referred to as BBSs, or Bulletin Board Services. CompuServe is a great example of a network that was a precursor to the social media of today. In the late 70s, all the way up through approximately 1994, places called MUDs, or multi-user dungeons, were created for real-time chat. Chat rooms, unlike bulletin boards, were, as I mentioned, real-time communication. They also organized people by topics, lifestyles, and hobbies. The time frame in the late 80s and early 90s spread across several networks. America Online made these chat rooms popular. Many communities and discussions were had within AOL chat. This led to online dating sites and places for people to connect in the real world. And I personally spent many late hours speaking to people all over the world via AOL chat rooms in the early 90s. I was also a beta tester for America Online, and so I always got my dial-up connection for free in my kitchen using my telephone line. This brings us to social media of today, 2017. People can easily locate and connect with others who share their tastes, lifestyle, politics, spiritual practices, ailments, or professional aspirations. Social media as we know it today began as a continuation of blogging and the bulletin boards. In my experience, classmates.com was the first I used to connect classmates from high school that I no longer lived in the same state with. A few years later, I joined LinkedIn and began connecting with my previous employers as well as those people I'd worked with. Being able to use professional contact referrals for new job opportunities was such a value. MySpace was a lot of fun and eventually gave way to Facebook and Twitter for social as well as professional connections. Critics cite now at least 60 popular social media networks, but I know that over 100 have been reported previously to be alive and active with an audience. Social media has changed the way we live, work, and play, and I believe that there's much more to the future of the internet since email, Web 1.0, bulletin boards, and chat rooms coming for the future. Thank you.